What did you half but that you wish you would have full said? Staying in shape. Due to chronic illness, I got laid up for a year or so before starting to get into remission. The only problem with the remission is that I could suddenly eat again, and my body could absorb calories correctly. I quickly went from 40 pounds underweight to 40 pounds overweight. To be fair, I think the latter is healthier. I full assed university but really wish I'd also full assed all the extracurriculars that come with it. Turns out most of my friends got jobs not because of their degrees but just because of the people they ended up meeting. And I stayed home and watched old cooking shows all evening instead. Now I have a bachelor's but I'm working at a brunch place that barely pays me enough to get by. Crap sucks. It's so important. I'm doing all this extracurricular stuff in my final year so hopefully I'll still have something to show. Trying to avoid student loans. I feel like I could have been a good RA, or lived off campus earlier, or done more work study. I loved my time in college, and the job I have now, but I didn't really think about trying to minimize the loans I have now. You sound about the same age and situation as me. Problem is right around the time we went into college everybody made it sound necessary and normal to have student loans. Only now do I realize how ridiculous that is. I know if I have a kid, I won't pressure them into college. I feel like I can speak for a lot of people when I say, college. I'm currently working a blue collar job just to make ends meet. Had I worked harder than I could be in my dream job right now. I went back to school at 41 and am just now getting to a point where I make a living in a job that doesn't make me want to kill myself every morning. My OkCupid pics. I just posted some random selfies because using timer function on phone camera is a pain. No one will bother reading what you wrote if the pic is unflattering. More than that, whenever I only see selfies, it's a red flag for someone's social life. It's definitely smart to pepper in some pictures with friends or family, perhaps even more important than well-composed pictures. Ages 13 through 23, mental health awareness was nowhere near as prevalent back then as it is now, so I always just assumed there was something wrong with me and that was it. It wasn't until I started dating my wife, then girlfriend, at 23 that someone finally pointed out to me that I was pretty clearly in denial about the abuse I had gone through as a kid. Once I finally accepted what happened to me and let go of the anger guilt, I was able to get my life back on track in a major way. Overall I've had a great life. I'm more fortunate than most in this world, and I wouldn't trade where I am now for anything. I just wish I hadn't lost a decade of my life to severe apathy towards life and depression. College. I assumed with the IT bubble that all I had to do is walk into any business with my bachelor's and I'd just be handed a $50,000 a job plus insane benefits to sit on my butt, browse the internet all day, and occasionally fix a problem if one arose. Had I known the level of effort that would be needed I would have tried to get a real internship, taken things more seriously, and given a crap long enough to get into the industry. Ugh, this is what I did and am doing. I'm also very lucky and interview really well and got both of my jobs by the skin of my butt. My GPA is no longer an issue. College. I was basically forced to go since that was the norm in my family, but just did a liberal arts major since I had no idea what I wanted to do. It took me forever to graduate too since I went on and off. Same, but I did electrical engineering. Later I realized I wanted something completely different. I feel yeah. Freelancing versus working full-time as an artist. Considering the downtime I had at freelance sometimes, I'm certain I would have made the same money working full-time, and while my portfolio is fancier than most people doing so many cool jobs, most people don't take the experience seriously. I've tried getting into studios in recent years and all of them frown at my 2 years freelance experience. They even like what they see, but they're doubtful of the fact if I'd be able to listen to people, follow orders from leads and take orders from above. To top it all, it makes immigration and stuff really difficult because they want to see proper work experience and freelance never usually counts. Yes, the jobs were sometimes cooler, but I wish I full-time worked. I could been even better and had solid work experience to boot by now. Ha, figured this thread would be full of stupid butt jokes. No? Okay then. I wish I had gone full butt into my military service. Been almost 50 years now, and it is still crystal clear. and I was kinda zoned. I'm a careful guy. I try to scope out the landscape, identify all the problem areas, think about things which might have cost some people their lives. I wish I had just dived in, balls out, gone after things instead of trying to figure them out. I should have been smarter, braver, more effective, done my job better, taken more risks. It still bugs me now, but the immediate aftermath, I got PTSD without even knowing what that was, and sent off to a VA psych ward 13 years after I got back from Vietnam. Suicide gesture, more comic than effective. Couldn't even do that full, but anyway, if you're in some crap like that, dive in. You'll remember it all just as hard as I do, but you'll enjoy it more. For what it's worth, I don't think everyone can fully get into a fight response, even if you're normalized during training. I wouldn't regret not risking your life more as much as I would have wished looking into military options after the war that didn't involve being in the thick of things. I know it's a popular answer, but college. I didn't give much of a crap in school, had a bad GPA, figured employers don't care much about GPA, and I'm never going to grad school anyway. Now I desperately want to go to grad school to move my career forward, and I'm ashamed to put my undergrad GPA on my resume. I'm thinking of getting a second BS just to prove I can get good grades. C'est la vie. My relationship with my parents, especially in high school. I could have avoided a lot of unhelpful damage if I'd realized how much they mean to me. Parts of high school, no regrets. I got decent grades but could have done better if I had the same drive I had in college. I just coasted by. I'm thankful for where I'm at now, but I could have had some more wiggle room to figure crap out if I had taken a little more effort in high school. Still had a good time though, and that's what matters. Oh Jesus, why did you have to remind me of last night? Trying to unpark my old pickup truck with new camper shell and manual transmission on a rainy night on a hilly upward slanted street in unfamiliar San Francisco with a car parked behind me and a car ahead of me. I know how to full butt it. You have to gently back up as much as possible and then use the stupid handbrake, clutch, and gas at the same time to start moving forwards without rolling backwards. And I half-assed it and just did the I'll move my foot real quick from the brake to the clutch thing because I was hungry and wanted to get to a great restaurant, and because I haven't had to do the handbrake thing in like 5 years. There was no crunch. There was just a solid bumper to bumper bump as I rapidly rolled like a foot backwards into the car behind me. No alarm. I just quickly drove forward and was on my way. But I've done worse in the past, and if I don't majorly work on my unparking skills, will do worse again. I wouldn't worry about it. I live in Chicago. People here are pricks when it comes to parking. My 4-year-old car's bumpers look about as cratered as an acne-ridden teenager's face. Bumpers are for bumping after all. College. I graduated with a 3.0 average and a decent job, but I treated the whole thing as a joke as I was in a weird place in my life. I went from high school where I had no social circle and dreaded it to me reinventing myself and having friends. So instead of studying, it was hang out with the guys and watch a Chappelle show or play PS2 or throw the football around in the quad. Then instead of using time to better myself by using the amazing workout facilities, I'd spend that time drinking, chasing after a specific woman, unsuccessfully, and eventually spending too much time with a woman that was horrible for me in so many ways. College is an amazing 4 years that I can only piece together parts of. If I could do it over, I would. The social stuff is part of the education. I didn't do any of it and I know my career has suffered as a result. My thesis in college, literally half-assed, didn't finish it, and now I have 4 years of university under my belt and no degree. Probably high school. I say probably because I partied a lot and had a bunch of fun, so I don't totally regret it. I mostly don't regret it because I have a good job now though. Also, seeing people my age just starting to experiment with alcohol and drugs is scary to me. I'm 24. Should have invested more time into my family in my late teens, early 20s. All too often people become complacent. And after all, you never know how long family is going to be around. My teenage years. I was not a good person. I don't have any regrets about where my life has ended up. I'm happily married, have a job, and roof over my head. but if I could have made it here without hurting a whole lot of people, I would do it in a heartbeat. High school. I feel like if I applied myself more and focused more on the things I was passionate about instead of skipping class and joking around when in class, I would have set myself up with a more goal-focused young adulthood. I still had a heck of a lot of fun and don't regret it, but I will definitely always wonder what potential I could have opened up. My first tattoo, 3 AM, Waikiki Beach, drunk, came out terrible. I got it redone when I got back home. Still, don't be cheap on ink, it's on you for like a really long time. Maths. Back when I was in year 10, would have been 14 or so, I underperformed in it and got put into the lower maths class, officially called T3 maths. And now that I'm choosing A-levels and trying to get into chem and physics, I realize that I need the higher maths, officially called T4, to get to A-level maths, which I need for both A-level physics and most, if not all, science degrees. It's my fault for not trying hard enough, but still. You never got told how important those things were. We were just told that T3 is the easier class, and T4 was harder. Driving. Took all my lessons and test at 21 and failed. Got annoyed with it and gave it up. 37 and still don't drive. No idea why I didn't just do it. Playing hockey. I was much more concerned with where the next party was in girls. Every coach I ever had told me I had all the talent and physical ability to at least make a run at it, but I put in minimal effort. I ended up not getting a scholarship because of my lack of effort and rumored partying lifestyle, and now I actually have to pay off my student loans. I wish I could go back and slap high school me in the freaking face and actually full but the one thing I loved to do more than anything. Now I'm relegated to being the best person in my beer league with nothing to show for all those years of practice. I could probably say the same for almost everything in my life, like grad school. If only I would have cared to mingle a little more and got to know the right people, I would have the job I want, not the job that pays the bills. Live and learn. College. I'm a pretty smart dude, but wound up switching from a major that probably would have landed me a six-figure job by now to a major where I'm struggling to find something I like doing. All because the girls in major B were a lot better looking than major A. My academics weren't phenomenal in college, but I got fairly lucky and landed a great job, so I guess swimming. I wish I'd put more effort into diet, not partying, and had gone as fast as I think I could have. Would have been pretty cool to go to Olympic trials, even if I didn't come close to making the team. This is kind of the flip side of the coin. I did whole butt college, but not like a lot of people might think. I went to a liberal arts school, got excellent grades, and worked hard. I didn't party much, but I partied enough not to feel like I missed out. But where I really spent my efforts was actually on a hobby. I fly fished almost 100 days a year, worked hard at it, practiced my casting, and got pretty good. After college I went to law school and I've been largely happy with my career as a lawyer. But more importantly, I started writing for outdoor magazines. My concerted efforts to get good at fly fishing, plus writing and photography, continue to pay big dividends now. I get invited on free trips, get to fish in awesome places, then get to write about those experiences for magazines. I'm writing this only for the high school kids who might be reading it and thinking about how they're going to spend their time in college. It's a seriously important time in your life. Don't lock yourself in an attic and study 24/7, because you will regret missing out on the party. Don't date only one person, because that's a recipe for discontent down the line. 2. But do take stuff seriously, work hard at school, and work harder at the extracurricular stuff that is actually going to define who you are. Above all, I strongly recommend getting good at something. A sport, preferably one you can keep playing, like golf or climbing, a skill, woodworking, photography, baking, a talent, art, writing, music. After college everyone has a job. No one cares that you're in insurance or whatever, but they will care if you can sit down and rock Rachmaninoff, or shoot scratch golf, or climb V9, or build a wooden kayak with your hands. I have a lot of friends these days whose skill is knowing stuff about sports or being able to recite lines from movies. They don't really do anything except consume media and watch other people perform. And a lot of them kind of just look lost all the time. They have kids, they're good parents, they travel, and their lives are not bad, but they don't have a lot of meaning either. College is the time when you get to decide who you are outside the office, and that's the most important thing you can do with those 4 to, in some cases, 7 years of your life. College. I was basically forced to go since that was the norm in my family, but just did a liberal arts major since I had no idea what I wanted to do. Took me forever to graduate too since I went on and off. Life and all of the things. I think I half-butt almost everything I do, which has now got me super concerned. FKOP, I am now freaking out a bit. College and my early career, both half-asses and now in a job that I do not like. Now half-assing my approach to getting a new one. College. I majored in the wrong branch of engineering. Got C's and D's in courses I didn't need to take. Never sought help in courses I was having trouble with. Came within an eyelash of flunking a computer course I needed to graduate. And didn't think much about what kind of work I'd be likely to do afterward. So not completely assed, but half-assed. Graduate school was a little better. I only got into 1, but got my master's only about a quarter assed. Only had 1 job offer when I graduated, but I'm now about to retire from that job 42 years later. Renovating my basement to make a livable suite. It's functional and I needed a tenant fast, so I slapped the bare minimum together. But dang, it's gonna take so much more work now to make it presentable for selling the house. University for show. I had the best teachers and my mom was paying for it all. If I could do it over, I would be so much better. Like everyone else is saying, college. I skated through it, I got 2 degrees, yeah, but I could have done so much more. I am also sad I didn't find out I had certain talents until much later. High school. I partied, never did my homework, slept in class, and in turn I graduated 86 out 116 students. I know I could have done better if I had tried. I've never been comfortable socially, but I never pushed myself to make friends or just try and get used to it. I have people that I consider friendly, but I have no one that I see on a consistent basis, and it's my own fault. High school. I prioritized gaming instead of studying. Didn't do any work outside of class. Since a D was just barely passing, I managed to pass some but not all classes on tests and in classwork alone. Ended up taking an extra year at the high school and an extra year, that should have been a week, in one online class. That extra year of school I had class every other day, so I was staying up until midnight 1 AM to play WoW. Getting up at 7 and class by 8:45. Because I wasn't able to find a job until I finished high school. Yeah, McDonald's wouldn't take me and Jack in the Box wouldn't take me as well. I always feel behind compared to people my age. No job, no money, no higher education, no money for a house. As someone that went through pretty much the same thing, don't compare yourself to others. Compare yourself to who you used to be and who you want to be. I'm a lot happier since I've stopped trying to keep up with friends who are buying houses and new cars. Life isn't a race. It's a choose your own adventure, and everyone takes their own path. Go at your own pace and try to be content with that. High school. I did fine in college, though whether or not it was worth it was a whole other regard. I aced every tests in high school but never did any of my homework or studied or any of that. Had I worked harder, I would have likely been one of the top of my class and gotten a lot of scholarships. Instead I played a lot of EverQuest. Ugh. High school. I would have worked hard to make sure I at least had some sort of scholarship for college. Also, I bullshitted my way through math, and because of that I've always been bad at math. I cheated myself. My exam tomorrow. Frick, it's almost midnight and I'm still on Reddit. This is a special retry from a failed exam last year. My music career. I kind of wished I had taken it more seriously when I was younger. I always made and published music but never tried to go anywhere with it. Now I'm getting back into it and trying to make it while pretty much out of touch with the audience, which is mostly younger people as well as other individuals who are actually making names for themselves now, who are also younger people. I wish I full-assed my half-assing. Think of all the extra effort I could have avoided if I would just buckle down and really half that butt. Choosing a college. I went somewhere close to home to be around my brother, but was so busy I never saw him anyway. I should have gone away like I wanted to the good school with the program I actually wanted to be in. If you are new to the channel, you can subscribe. I publish new videos every day. Until then, check another video. Bye for now.